cover crop and turn it in and start getting it wet and soaking it so that the weed seeds will sprout, and I'm gonna kill them by covering them with a tarp. And I've got this beautiful machine here. One of my landlord's friends is letting us borrow this because we got a couple projects going on right now. My landlord's putting in a little patio here with all this brick, so he's got, you know, DG and all the brick out here, all the soil that he dug up from that spot. So we're going to be using this little mini tractor here to move all the dirt. It's also going to help me over here. It's awesome. Thank you so much to Jeff for letting me borrow that. Side here, basically all the clover and other flowers have died. I haven't watered it the whole entire winter. It was just watered by the rain once it got big enough. So as you can see, a lot of the wheat is now turned. This is all edible by the chickens, and they go crazy for it. And so it's April 7th, and you know, this process of getting this whole thing ready with the beds is going to take me probably 6 to 8 weeks, because I'm trying to sprout up all the weed seeds and tarp them and kill them. I got to do this now. I wish I could let the wheat yellow a bit more, but you can see some of this I kind of crushed so the chickens could eat it. I'm going to be pulling this up by hand because I could use that tractor, but then I'm going to knock all this seed out and it's going to fall into the ground. I want the least amount of seed possible. You know, this whole winter I've been walking through this a couple days a week and just pulling out the bad weeds that I don't want and feeding it to the chickens. So these things are really shallow rooted. If they're dried out, I mean, I just did that with just one hand, left-handed. So I'll be shaking off. Here come the chickens. So see how much they love the wheat. I think I'm just gonna come and cut the tops off of all of these and let them dry out, and then take the tractor, knock down all the straw, and that's just going to be a carbon layer, and we'll just let it break down. It might help snuff out some of the weeds coming up as well. So that's what I'll be doing, and I'll be piling it up in my wheelbarrow here. There you'll see me, and I'm just going to leave it in the corner to dry and then use it when I need it. Probably see, and I push the dirt a lot with the tractor to try to get it to be a little more level. So I'm going to come back in and level out this little high section, and then I'm going to take all the leftover wheat and let it decompose here on the ground, and it's going to provide like a little cover for the ground. I'll let the chickens work out here for about a week. In the meantime, I'm going to be watering it with my sprinkler, helping some of the weed seeds sprout, and then I'll be covering this with the polyethylene tarp, or a silage tarp. Also today I'll be cleaning out the coop. This thing, I've had it going since January. You know, it's been going for 3 months. I got 3 months worth of material here, and I'm gonna get that compost going because I need to have it ready in at the earliest 8 weeks.
And I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10.
Okay, so the tractor did a lot of great work here. I've got it a lot flatter now. There's still going to be some work to do. After I rototill this in about 6 weeks, then I'll be able to flatten out even more. So what I'll do next is I'm going to go pick up some of the bigger rocks out there, get them out of there. And then I'm going to come back to the tractor and start pushing all this straw in piles so that I can easily spread it out. Otherwise I'll be dragging the straw across the entire field. So right here along the building I've got a really bad line of crabgrass and some other thicker sod type grass. So I just went in here by hand and with a shovel and fork and hoe and just kind of rake this up. Do not want any crabgrass. Crabgrass, the reason why it's so bad Let's see if I can, yeah, this is crabgrass. So it can grow just from a root. That's all it needs. So if I rototill this into my soil, I'm effectively spreading crabgrass seed everywhere, and it's gonna start springing up everywhere. So I want to get ahead of it and start killing it now before I even tarp it, just to start taking the energy out of the plant. So I hope this helps to eliminate the crabgrass. That's the one grass I'm worried about here. The other weeds that sprout, I'm not too worried, but crabgrass is just horrible. All right, so the field's ready now. Just spread out all of the straw so we can start decomposing. And before I do that, I'm gonna add some just oyster shell. And this will be like a long-term mineral supplement from the ground. And all the soil microorganisms and different things that can feed on it and start breaking it down will start doing that. And then when the roots go down for my plants, they'll be able to tap into those minerals that are breaking down, and this will break down for probably decades. All right, so I just spread out about maybe 30 pounds of oyster shell. I could have done more, but this is good enough. You know, I just want to add something. My landlord's putting in his new patio. We're all working hard out here, so it's a real good day, real good Saturday. All right, next step, I'm gonna drag all this straw out, and then I'll start watering. Areas that I didn't cover, because I really want to cover my dirt to protect the soil microbes, so that the soil can be able to be activated really quickly. And then water this, and then I'll wait about a week for some of the weed seeds to start sprouting. So today I'll be laying out my polyethylene tarp, and I'm using a 5mm 24-foot by 100-foot tarp. I'll be cutting that in half. So I'm going to have two 24-foot by 50-foot tarps. This entire area is about 46 by 50 feet, so it works out to be just about perfect for me. And I got a super good deal on this tarp. I got it from jet.com. I've never bought anything from them before, but it was 90 bucks, I think, shipped. That's one of the best prices I saw on the internet. Right now I'm soaking the beds here, and you know, one more little quadrant that I need to soak in, and then I'll be tarping that. And normally you would make the bed, like you would rototill and then make the beds first, but I have some crabgrass out here and I'm really worried about it because it grows via rhizome, not from seed. So if I rototill and there's a bunch of the crabgrass rhizomes, it's going to mix it up, and then I'm going to carry that, and that's going to cause me a lot more problems in the future. So to prevent that, I'm going to do kind of a hybrid method where I will tarp it 2-3 weeks, and then I'm going to take the tarp off and kind of see where we're at. See how many weeds have sprouted and then kind of died, or you know, got scraggly. They're going to crawl out searching for light, but there's not going to be any light. And then we'll see what it looks like. And I'm going to pull up the crabgrass. I might need to tarp it again for another couple of weeks, or if I feel like, you know, a lot of the stuff has sprouted and I can get a lot of the crabgrass up easily, what I'll do is at that point I'm going to create my beds, and then I'll soak those again, and then tarp the entire area one more time, get weeds to sprout up again in the beds themselves this time, and then take the weeds out and then start from there. It's going to be, you know, a 4 to 6 week process basically. I'd love to start planting right now, but if I jump the gun, I'm going to have a big weed problem in the future, so it's better just to take my time. And you know, I won't be planting till the end of May, early June, but you know what, that's okay. I'll just go hard for the winter. The girls are getting one last little playtime out here, so they really loved searching through the wheat and all the dirt, so they'll definitely miss it. Just measured to 50 feet on each side, and then I'm just going to use this piece of wood as a guide here. Cool. Now I've got two 24 by 50 foot pieces. Since I put the silage tarp on, and it's really done an amazing job. And most of my weeds didn't really sprout. And the crabgrass I was worried about was highly minimalized. I'm gonna come and just pick these out by hand right now. I'm taking the tarp off right now because we've got some rain coming in May, probably our last storm of the year. I'm gonna let the rain soak in here on the ground, and I'm really happy with this. I think the weed seeds pretty much sprouted during the time I was cover cropping, or they got choked out. So I'm gonna pull up some of this crabgrass by hand, kind of work on the perimeter a little bit more by hand, and then I'm gonna rototill this, and hopefully no more weeds sprout. If I see some more sproutage from weeds, I may cover this with a tarp one more time once my beds are created, just as a one final burnout of all the weed seeds. Well, today is a very exciting day. I'm going to be renting a tiller and finishing off this market garden, creating the beds, doing the irrigation system, and I'll be doing that all weekend. I'm going to go rent a tiller, but before I do that, I'm going to uncover my plastic. Luckily it's around 70 degrees and cloudy, so it won't dry out the bed or the ground here. And I'm just going to look for any other weeds that sprouted up, or especially the crabgrass. I'm going to dig up any crabgrass I can find, pull the entire root structure out, and get rid of it. Finally be finishing this. Couldn't be happier with how the dirt turned out. You can check it out. It's still moist from the rain, and I captured all that by covering it with a tarp. So after my sheet mulching and cover crop, this is a really nice soil. So I was intending to put my compost out there, but I think it probably needs a couple more weeks, and I think this is actually good enough to plant my beans in. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and create the beds. The next thing you'll see is us laying out the measurements for the beds. All my beds are 30 inches wide. The length is going to vary. There's going to be two different lengths, and then I'll have 10-inch walkways in between each bed. I'm trying to maximize the amount of space here. If I do 10-inch walkways, I should be able to get 13 beds going from north to south.